Today, some spicy Brie puff pastries to die for. So let's do it. The first step for this one, we want a selection of chilies. You want to chop the tops off the chilies and then get them sliced up, leaving the seeds in. We want these pastries to have a nice kick. Once your chili is diced up, pop those into a bowl, stick them to one side, and next up we want some red onions. So chop your red onions in half, remove the skins, and you want to slice up the red onion into nice thin strips. We don't want them to be too chunky on the pastries. Then chuck your onion slices in a bowl, pop those to one side with the chili, and now we can start to cook. So we want to pop a frying pan on the hob, turn the heat to medium, add a nice knob of butter, and chuck in your red onion. Soon as the onion's in, give it a season with some salt and freshly ground black pepper. Give it a good tossing up in the pan, and the first step is to sweat down the onions and get them nice and soft. So give them about 5 to 7 minutes until they start to get soft, and then you want to chuck in your chili. Toss the chili and the onion in the pan, give it a mixing up, and you want to cook the chilies for another 5 to 7 minutes with the onion. At this point, we want to go in with a nice tablespoon of some honey. Give the pan another good toss, give it a mix, and then we want to deglaze with some brandy. Make sure you burn off the alcohol and reduce that down for a few moments before we go in with some balsamic vinegar. So add a good splash of your vinegar, and you just want to cook this out for a couple of minutes until you've reduced down the balsamic to a nice syrup. And then you want to pour out your onions and your chili into a bowl, and I like to let this cool down before we put it on the pastry. So stick your chili and onion jam to one side, and then you want to turn on your oven and preheat to 180 degrees. And next we want to make a quick egg wash. So take a bowl, crack an egg into the bowl, and give that a good beating up with a fork. Now your egg wash is done, stick it to one side. Next up you want to take your Brie, and very simply just chop your Brie into nice slices. Not too thick but not too thin, and then you want to pop the Brie to one side with your chili and onion jam. This will be going on at the end of the cooking. So you can make your own pastry, but you really can buy really good quality pastry these days. So roll out a sheet, cut it into good sized squares, and then you want to fold over the edges so you have a border to the pastry. Once you've prepared all the pastries, you want to pop those onto a baking tray and then give them a good brushing in the egg wash. Next you want to take some sea salt and sprinkle very lightly over the pastry, particularly around the border. At this point you want to pop your pastries into the oven, and you want to bake them off for about 5 minutes before the onions go on. We want them to be ever so slightly puffed up and starting to get slightly brown. So after a few minutes, pop them out and lay over some of your lovely onion and chili jam. Once your onions are on, pop them back in the oven and bake for another 4 minutes or so. The last thing to go on is the Brie, because we want it to be only just melting over the top of the pastries when they're done. So after another few minutes, get them back out of the oven and lay on your slices of Brie. The pastries are going to take another 3 to 5 minutes. You want to get them out when the Brie has just started to beautifully melt over the top. So get them out of the oven. They're best served hot, but you can eat them cold. You really want to give these ones a try. So all that's left to do is to get stuck in, and I'll see you next time.